Are you looking to do deals and master flipping houses? Welcome to the DoDeals Show with our host, Mr. Tim Mai. As a successful investor and mentor to many real estate investors, Tim's students consistently run 6- and 7-figure investing businesses. Each week, you'll hear from top real estate investors who share the best strategies, systems, and secrets that you can use to be more successful. Tim and his guests will pull back the curtain for you to learn their exact tactics, tricks, and tools that are working best right now in today's real estate market. Now, let's welcome Mr. Tim Mai.
Well, hello everybody. This is Tim Mai. Welcome to another interview. Today I have Gordon Cuffe on the line with me. Gordon, as I found out, he bought one of my courses way back when, when he first started in real estate investing, and at that time you were doing fix and flip, right, Gordon? Like around that 2009, 2010 area. Yeah, yeah. So Gordon is a real estate agent out of the Sacramento area. And he's been doing that. He started more or less full-time in real estate investing in 2014. He's been doing virtual wholesaling, so doing wholesale deals out of the Kansas City area and at one point also the St. Louis area. He also does some wholesale deals in Sacramento as well. And on this interview, we're gonna focus around what are some of the challenges and pitfalls and mistakes that a newbie investor should watch out for in getting started in this business? A lot of people might, like if you've seen those flipping houses shows, you might think that real estate is all fancy, it's all easy, right? But in reality, I mean, real estate investing is a hard business. It's simple, right? You find a good deal, you buy it, or you get a contract, and then you wholesale it or fix it and sell it, right? It's simple, but it's there's a lot of work that goes into it, and a lot of people make all kinds of different mistakes in this business. So we're gonna focus, this interview around talking about some of the challenges that Gordon went through in starting his business and running his business, and even some of his current challenges. And we'll learn a lot from what has worked for him and what hasn't worked for him, right? So, thank you, Gordon, so much for doing this interview with me today, buddy.
Yeah, I'm excited because like I said, you were probably my first course I bought. Many of them.
That's awesome. So, Gordon, if you can share with everybody a little bit about yourself. And even including like when the first investment property you ever bought, and give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, in 1993 I bought my first rental house, and I didn't know anything, so I just bought it, saying it seemed like a good idea. Let's rent this out. So
Well, what gave you that idea to even begin with?
My aunt was a landlord, and it seemed like, okay, this is a way to have some extra money at some point down the road, because I'm in California, so California, the prices go up. So that was my only theory, was buy a house and it's going to go up in value. That's all,
Right. Okay, and so what? So that was 1993, and then when did you get your agency, business? When did you become an agent?
Oh, that same year. Yeah, I got my real estate license, and it all happened the same year.
Gotcha. So you've been an agent for a long time. So great. So what is it like as an agent and then get started into real estate investing? Is it very different? Is it very similar? Speak into that. It's similar, but investors, they're going to look at a house and they're not going to care too much about the paint. They're going to care more about, okay, what's the price and how much can I rent it for if they're holding on to it. So that's the biggest thing. Okay.
Unless they're the fix and flip guy who's got to see how much can I pay for it, what can I put into it, and what can I sell it for.
Right. All right. So share with us, like, what was some of the challenges that you gone through in getting your real estate business started, real estate investing business started?
Yeah, when I first started, there wasn't an internet, so I just said, okay, I got to find someone to rent it. The first year was easy. Some guy rented it and he paid on time. Well, the second year he lost his job or whatnot. So then there's my first challenge. What do I do? How do I get rid of him? So I had to learn myself how to evict someone because I couldn't afford the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to evict them and go through that whole process. And then some of my other challenges after that were screening tenants because I had no screening process. It was, oh, he seems pretty cool. Let's rent it to him. That was my screening process. That didn't work after a few more tenants. One of my tenants ended up being the local drug dealer of the neighborhood. I found out a couple years later when the police kicked in the door and got rid of him.
Wow.
Those challenges were, let's maybe screen some people before you rent them to them, and at least I learned how to evict, but that's not the process.
Right. Well, did you like take any classes around being a landlord or anything like that at that time?
No, that was
Okay.
probably a mistake there. I didn't
Right.
take any classes. It was just maybe I read a little bit. I think the most I read about was how to evict someone, but should have read more about how to find a good quality tenant. You know?
Right. Well, that's very common, right? As human beings, is that we don't think to learn something until we run into a problem. It's like, okay, how do I solve something versus being proactive and said, how do I make sure I get it right from the beginning so that way I never have that problem to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've made tons of those mistakes that you just talked about because when, I how I got into landlording was kind of accidental, where I wasn't, I was trying to sell a house that I had rehab, try to sell retail, and for whatever reason I couldn't sell it, so I put a tenant in, and so I just like you, I just stumbled my way through being a landlord and never really got educated in it, and so I've made tons of like landlording mistakes that when I share with some of my friends who are really good landlords, they shake their heads like, wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. So great. So that's definitely something to look for, as a newbie investor, whether you're gonna do, wholesaling, rehabbing, landlording. Make sure you learn enough information before getting into it. So don't become an accidental anything, right? Don't become an accidental landlord or investor. Great. So
yeah.
what's another lesson that you've learned along the way since then?
Um, yeah, if you get a lot of equity and get excited about all that equity, just be careful about over leveraging because that was the other
Mm-hmm.
thing I learned the hard way in 2007. In California, where I'm in Sacramento, the values went up like this. So it's like, oh, I got all this equity, I got to do something with it. So, you do a cash out refinance, take that money and buy other properties. But if my cash flow was even or maybe even negative on the following properties, so whenever their tenant had to move out or whatever, I started feeling it because I didn't have the extra money to pay the mortgage payments.
Right.
So like a double whammy. Well,
Gotcha.
2007 was like the triple whammy. My income dropped, my tenants stopped paying, and the value started dropping. So it was wow.
Right.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, that was a tough time for everyone for sure. And so okay, so don't over leverage your properties. Make
Yeah,
sure that there's always plenty of cash flow cushion, right?
yeah,
So that way, yeah, if the market does turn south, that you can get out of it, or yeah, at least you have enough equity. If you need to liquidate it, you can.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right. Awesome. And then I know you do some deals virtually, even though you're in Sacramento, you do them in Kansas City and St. Louis. How did you come about getting started in the idea of, hey, let me wholesale some properties outside of my state, somewhere else. And so yeah, how did you get that idea, and what are some of the challenges that you found in doing virtual wholesaling?
Yeah, I think it was 2012 or 2013. I was always online, going to YouTube or whatnot, and people talking about, oh, I'm virtual wholesaling. I'm here sitting at Starbucks. I'm virtual wholesaling in the city far away. So I started looking into that. I tried to figure it out myself and created some websites thinking, oh, I'm going to get some buyers, So I did that whole, make the websites, get some buyers. I couldn't put it together. I didn't get the sellers. So, I built seller websites, but, I wasn't getting enough leads to really do anything. So finally in February 2014, I knew enough, but not enough to really get good traction. So I went to a 3-day little getaway to Mark Evans in Florida. And then, so he put all the pieces together to say, mail out this to these people, get people, if you're virtual, get some people boots on the ground so that they could look at the properties that you're considering making offers on, get some buyers in that city. So that really helped put all the dots together where I can get the traction going and start doing deals out of state.
That's great. So all right, so let's break those 3 steps down. So number one, mailing out to to the sellers. How do you identify, okay, what zip code or what specific area within that market to focus in on to begin with?
I started getting on other wholesalers' lists to see what properties they were sending out.
Mm-hmm.
I would, note down, like, oh, look at that zip code, that zip code. Those houses are going for that price range, whatever it was, 20,000, 30,000. So then that's how I figured out what zip codes to start targeting, because other wholesalers, other investors were there. So that's basically how I started. Just
So get on other wholesale sellers list, find out where they're selling their properties, because that'll give you a pretty good sign where they're marketing, right?
yeah, and they lived in that market, so they knew it.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, and then so what do you send them?
I just send just postcards.
And what does it say?
I've got 2 different ones. One says the basic, hi, I'm interested in buying your house. I've purchased many houses in this area before, and you don't have to pay commissions or do any repairs. It's very easy. That kind of postcard.
Okay. All right, and then who do you mail that to? Like what type of sellers or what type of list do you mail that to?
Yeah, mostly absentee owner type of list, and people who've owned a long time, probably 15 years or more. That's what I kind of prefer.
Right. So absentee owners and high equity, basically.
Yeah, because they don't have a lot of equity and own a long time.
Yeah, great. So, all right. So you, so you do your mailing. They contact you. Now, how do you find the boots on the ground, right? The person on the ground to go help look at the property, and then do you negotiate over the phone and then send that person out to sign a contract, or how does that process work?
Yeah, I talk over the phone, and I just ask them after I get an idea of what kind of shape the house is in, like, what do you think you want for the house? Because usually, hopefully, they have an idea. This is what they want or what they need. Because I found that they've done their own kind of minor research before they even consider selling something fast. If the number seems reasonable, I'll go ahead and put it under contract. And if I send someone out there and they say, well, the roof that they said that had a minor problem actually has a big hole in it,
Mm-hmm.
then we have to renegotiate the price. And I only renegotiate the price if I can point out that, well, look, someone found the hole in the roof, or the siding's all bad, or the foundation's crooked, those kind of things, just to make it make sense type thing.
Right. Okay. So the I guess it's a sort of 2-part question. How do you find a local person?
When I first started, I found a local person on Craigslist. I found some inspectors who would do a quick, I'll call it quick, fast inspection, not the real in-depth $300 type inspection. So they would go and take some pictures, give me an idea, and maybe write some quick notes to say,
Gotcha.
see this problem or this.
Right. And how much do they charge for something like that?
I found that they were charging like $50.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay,
Yeah.
so that person job is just to go look at the property, give you a report, send you some pictures. They don't do any kind of negotiation or talk to sellers, right?
Right, yeah. They
Okay.
just,
All right, so you do all the talking with the sellers, and then once you get the sellers to say yes, do you like email them a contract? Do they do like DocuSign type thing?
depends on the seller, because some, they're a lot older. You have to do it the old-fashioned way, just mail it to them.
Okay.
But some, yeah, it's great if they have email, because I can email it over to them.
Right. All right. And then, so once you get in a contract, what's next? How do you find your buyer?
Now I have a buyer's list. Back then, when I didn't have one, I was, probably promoting on Craigslist to find some buyers. I can't remember, I think a little bit on Facebook a few years ago to try to find investors in that market.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, websites in that market to, because every city has a monthly real estate investor meetup. So I
Right.
went to their websites and promoted properties that way.
Gotcha. Have you ever went out to those markets to study them, at all?
Yeah, I went to Kansas City this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Just I was on vacation there anyway, so I thought, yeah, it's a good time to go there. And so I drove around and met some people and looked at zip codes and whatnot.
Gotcha. And was that the first time that you've been out there?
Yeah, yeah,
So you've been doing this for a while. You've never been there, and then
yeah. And then
okay.
I finally decided to go. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that sounds good. All right. So before you post on Craigslist, Facebook posts, different ways to find the buyers, and now I assume you just email it to your list and try to
Yeah,
find them.
now I have a list. Yeah, so I could just email it out, and you kind of gotta. Some of the people on the list are what I call fake buyers, 'cause they say, "Well, I'm not interested in, but I have a guy who's interested."
Yeah.
And then fumble through that. Okay, well, what do you want from this? See what what they
Right.
want.
Okay. And what are some of the challenges? So if someone wants to do virtual wholesaling in other markets, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, study the market, see where the investors are buying, what zip codes they're buying in. Study what zip codes that they're doing the fix and flips to. 'Cause those are good houses if you could find those for
Right.
those investors
Okay.
to wholesale in. Yeah, try to maybe get a little buyers list going on before. That helps a lot. Yeah, and then just I'd say start marketing there.
Right.
It's going to be trial and error at first, unless you bought the super course that tells everything about everything.
There's no such course.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, is there a reason why you are doing this in two different markets, one in your hometown in Sacramento and the other one in Kansas City, versus, pick and choose one?
Yeah. In my market, I don't want to own anything as a rental anymore, just because the prices are too high.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make money so I can buy and hold something in Kansas City.
Gotcha. Okay.
Since 2012, our market has just gone up so much that for me, it doesn't make sense to hold on to anything. It'd
Okay.
be it'd be like buying a house here in 2005 when we were at the peak again.
Gotcha. All right. So in your market, you either wholesale them or you fix and flip them, and in the Kansas market, you either wholesale them or buy and hold them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done any fix and flip at all in the the virtual markets?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just finished my first one in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even find it. A broker there found it for me, and she coordinated the whole with the contractor, all the work. And that one I put in the name of my IRA and my son's college educational savings account.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more of a long-term. Let's make money for long-term future. Nothing, not to buy, to hold, or to make money right now. It's just going to go back into my IRA and back into his college account.
Gotcha. All right, that sounds good. Well, yeah, so we're gonna wrap up this interview here. It's been, really great. You've answered tons of, tons of questions and give us a lot of information. Another, so if someone wants to, reach out to you, maybe, learn from you, do some stuff with you, where do you want to send them?
I guess they could give me a text, because that's not too. I could always answer those. My cell phone number is 916-261-2381. Or if they're looking for some wholesale deals in Kansas City, it's ihavewholesalehomes.com, my website.
What was that again?
ihavewholesalehomes.
ihavewholesalehomes.com. That's awesome. It's a great domain name.
Yeah, I lucked out on that one.
Cool. All right, one more question for you, Gordon. Share with us like your top one or two resources that you use in your business to help you with your business, like tools or resources.
Resources. I don't know. I'm always going online to see what other wholesalers are doing, just to see if they've learned something that I haven't picked up. Because there's so much technology too that
Right.
you can get.
Is there any specific website that you go to, or just?
I do go to biggerpockets.com.
Mm-hmm.
I like that community. People exchange a lot of information there.
Right.
And look for deals there too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's this one I've been using lately.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right, Gordon, thank you so much, buddy, for this awesome interview. I appreciate you greatly. I wish you the best, man. I wish you, lots of success here in 2017 and beyond.
Yeah, too. Thanks.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Gordon. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, listening to this interview. I'll see you on the next interview.
And that's our show for today. If you have any questions or would like to get further training from Tim Mai, please visit our website at www.dodeals.com/Tim.